Hey everybody, welcome back to my Jewelry Bench. Today I'm going to take a departure and I'm not going to be showing you a video on watch repairs or jewelry design, but I am going to show you an add-on that I use for a lot of different things that help me model in Blender. So if there's those of you who are interested in modeling in Blender, this is a tool that you can get both paid and free version, and I'll explain the differences in a moment, that helps you to model in Blender. So let me just bring that up here. So this is a product called KitOps Pro or KitOps2 Pro, and I'm currently using the latest version. You can see it here. It costs $35 for the Pro version. The free version is available at BlenderMarket, and you can get that for either free or a small donation. This product is well worth it if you're into modeling almost anything. So I'm going to show you a few of the things that I use it for. I won't cover everything, but I do want to cover how to make assets or inserts for KitOps. Let's get started. First thing I want to do is just explain to you, KitOps is a way that you can use different types of Blender models to add to other Blender models to make like a huge model of something. As you can see in the picture above, you can kind of use it to add or subtract different things to whatever you're creating. It's a pretty cool thing. And Chip Walters does have a lot of videos explaining some of the things, although I will say some of the videos don't really go into much detail about how to make inserts, and that's kind of what I'm covering today. I'm going to break this down into 3 categories, and I'll put an index above where you can see at what points you can go look at those particular parts of the video. Okay, so I've got a screen here, and this basically is an empty scene, and I've got some collections here where I've got, let's see, a house, and if I turn that on so we can see it, you can see I'm going to zoom out here. We have this little box that basically represents an empty house with no windows or doors. In addition to that, I'm going to turn that off, and we'll go to an electronics panel. So if you're into sci-fi modeling, here you've got like, I've just created this little startup panel where we can go and add some inserts to. And in addition to that, I have a generic ring that I'll be covering how to make an insert for gemstones that you can kind of wrap around this and make maybe like a channel set or a pave set style ring. So let's get started modeling, and I'm going to show you basically from start to finish how to do an insert. We're going to do 2 types of inserts. We're going to do an additive insert and a subtractive insert. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to open a new file, and we're going to open, I'm going to open a generic file. Let's see here, new, open recent. I have a game assets template, so I'll just open that up. And once that loads up, you can see I've got my default cube. So this is going to be what I call a subtractive insert for KitOps. And subtractive means that when you add it to a model that you've made, it actually embeds itself into the model and uses a Boolean to cut into the model to add in the additive part of your model. And we're going to make a little, let's make a little button, like a switch and a light. These are pretty easy to do. So I am going to take this cube and I'm going to remove it for now. And what I want to do is make a switch. Just a plain, simple, ordinary switch. To do that, I'm going to start with, I'll start with a cube because why not? Shift A, let's grab a model cube. Let's size this down. I'm going to bring this down. Now, sizing is important, so let's say I want this to be maybe we'll make this 0.05 meters, 0.05 meters, 0.05, and now I've got a 5 centimeter cube, and we're just going to zoom in here. If you can't zoom in, remember Shift B will allow you to zoom in a little bit better. So I've got my little cube here, and I'm going to size this on the Z-axis, SZ, and I'm going to bring that down to about like that. And I want to make this look like a toggle switch of some sort with a little light inside. So how do we do that? Pretty simple. What I'm going to do is design my switch using another cube. So we're going to I'm going to duplicate this, Shift D, and press Enter. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit, just like so. I'm going to size this down on all axes. And then I'm going to hit S and Z and size this up along the Z axis, make it a little taller. I'm not being specific, I'm just kind of being generic here. I'm going to go into edit mode by pressing the tab key. I'm going to press Control R and loop cut right in the middle, just like so. And with that loop cut there, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to grab this edge. I'm going to press 2 on my keyboard, select this edge right there, and bring this down so it kind of resembles somewhat of a toggle switch. It's not too bad. I like the way that looks. I'm going to press tab, go into object mode. I'm going to hit S and then X to size this on the X-axis. I'm going to bring this over. So if I look at this from the top down, I can bring that over to about here. That looks pretty good, just like so. Now this is the panel that I want to be added to my console. This is the switch that's actually going to be the toggle. And what I'd like to do is just kind of move this in a little bit, just like so. And that looks good, but I need to give my detail here to this. So I'm going to select my switch here. I'm going to hit Shift D, press Enter. I'm going to size this up a little bit. S, and then just going to bring it up like so. And I'm going to select that new sized switch. I'm going to hold the Shift key down, select my original cube, and then I'm going to go to Boolean difference. So you can see now if I zoom in here, I've got this little lip or little insert into my original cube, which gives us the illusion that the switch is embedded into the panel or into this cube. Now, just to give my switch a little more detail, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to grab this edge here. So select 2 on your keyboard, go into edge select, select these 2 edges. I'm going to press Control B and I'm going to bevel them ever so slightly and round them off so that it gives us much more of an appearance of a toggle switch, just like so. Okay, so I've got that part done. The next thing I want to do is add in a little light or 2 little lights on my box here, or my original cube. So we're going to add in a couple little models, and we'll actually duplicate them. So I'm going to hit Shift A, going to add in a UV sphere, and I'm going to come down to Mesh and UV sphere, and you can see it's relatively big. I'm going to actually give this a little bit more dimension or a little bit more geometry. I'm going to hit Size to size this down. We're going to zoom in. We'll keep sizing. I probably should have been working in a different scale mode, but for now this will work. And I'm going to put that right there. Going to bring this over here, just like so. And I'm going to rename this. We're going to call this, let's see here, UV sphere. We'll call this lens. And I'm going to rename my switch from cube 1 to toggle. And the original cube we'll just call base. Okay, so I've got that done. And there is my new lens here. I'm just going to move that over here for now. Okay, so now before I do anything else here, what I want to do is add in, because these little lenses are going to have lights under them. Let's say a red and a green lens. So what I want to do is on my panel show a little red light. So when you're modeling something for like a game, a video game, you would probably model something with a little red light. And to do that, I would come over here and do Shift A and add in a light. Where's my lights? And I'm going to add in a point light. Okay, so here's my point light. I'm going to move this over and up so that we can see the point light. And now if we go into rendered viewed here, you can see the light is on and it's casting shadows across our model. It's kind of brilliant here. You can see how it changes the view when I rotate that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the color. I'm going to make this red. So I'll come down and add in a material to my light, and let's just select red, just like so. Okay, that's perfect. And I'm going to put this inside this sphere, just like that. Now it's hidden behind the sphere. Don't worry about anything yet because we haven't gone anywhere with this. I'm actually going to give my sphere a material and we're going to make it a lens. But before I do that, I'm actually going to cut it in half. So to do that, I'm going to isolate that by pressing the / key. So now it's isolated. I'll look at this from the side view. I'm going to press Tab to go into edit mode. And I'm going to select X-ray mode so that we're in X-ray mode. Let's just come over here. And I am going to delete all of these faces here. So let's delete faces, and that leaves me with a partial dome here. And I'm going to press tab, and you can see now I've got this model that's very thin, and I'm going to come back over here just like so. We're going to hit the / key. Let's go back into object mode, / bring back our model, and I'm going to bring this down above our light. So it sits just over. Let's turn off X-ray mode so we can see. You can see it's kind of over our little red light that we added. And to do one more thing, I want to add a glass face or a glass material to this. So I'll come down to my materials tab. We'll hit new, and I'm going to select under surface. We're going to select glass, just like that. Now if I go into rendered view and we look at this under cycles, you can see inside there is the red light. It's kind of bright. It's kind of colorizing the whole model. So we're not done yet, but so far so good. Okay, that part's done. Let's go back into solid view here. And just because I can, I'm going to grab this lens one more time, hit Shift D and then G and then Y. And then I'm going to move that over to here, just like so. So now I have this modeled toggle switch that has 2 lenses on it, and one of the lights is actually on. Well, we want to give this a little bit of material. So to give this some material, we should apply some materials to this. I'm going to keep this really simple. We're going to make the lens switch or the toggle switch, we're going to make that gray. So I'll come down here, add a new material. We'll stick with the principal BSDF, and instead of white, let's change the main color to gray, just like that. And now for the base, I want to make that, let's make that, I'll make this black, so we'll add in a new material and we'll just bring down that all the way to black. I'm going to give this some roughness just because I can. And if we go into render view, you can see we're still getting some lighting effects from the light, and it's kind of keeping everything a little bit on the red, but you can see our button is kind of gray there. You can see our red light inside of our glass lens, and there's no light in this one. So far so good. And again, I'm not going to get into too much detail how to make this look even better, but we're going to leave it like it is right there. Now, to make an insert for KitOps, I've got all of this all set. What you need to do and what you need to remember is when you make the insert that everything has to be parented to one thing. So if I take a look at this model, you can see it's made up of several different items. It's made up of 2 lenses, a light, this base, and the toggle switch. So what I want to do is I want to keep this to be my main object. So the base itself is going to be the main object. So I can grab this lens, press Control P, and we grab this lens, we hold Shift key down and we select the base, and I'll press Control P and we'll parent that to the object. Now I've got that selected here, so I'm going to move this over just to get it out of the way for now. I'm going to grab my light, I'm going to hold that down and grab the base, so I've got both of those selected. Press Control P and press parent to object. Let's move this back, just like so. Now I'll grab the other lens right here. Remember, the first item that you select is going to be the child parent when you hold the Shift key down and select the next item. So the second item I select, which is the yellow item, will become the parent, and that's what we want. Control P, and we'll parent the lens to the base. And we're going to do this one more time with the toggle switch itself. Select the toggle switch, hold the Shift key down, select the base, press Control P, and then mirror that, or object, parent it to that object. So if I grab this base right now and I hit G, you see when I move it, I move the entire object. I can grab the switch individually and move that around, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep that parented. So because this is going to be an insert type of asset for KitOps, what I'm going to do next is add in a new cube. I'm going to hit Shift A, add in a cube. And remember, this is going to be a little bit on the huge side. Let's bring this down, size it all the way down. Okay, and we want this to be just a little bit bigger than our base. So I'm going to bring this SZ, I'm going to bring this over like that. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to hit S just to make it a little bit larger and a little bit below our center line. Now remember, so one thing to remember about the inserts is the center of origin is important. And right now, the main base has its center of origin right on the center line of the X and Y axis. And now this is going to be the surface point at which KitOps will insert it. So if I bring this cube down and I make it a little lower, it's going to give us the illusion that this base is inset into whatever we attach it to. So this is going to be our cutter, if that makes sense. So what I have to do now is actually make this a child of the base, which is the main unit. So I'm going to select my cube that I just added. I'm going to hold the shift key down, select the base, and then again press Control P to parent that object to the main switch base. Okay, so I've got that done. I'm going to go ahead and save this. File, save as, and I'll just save this as a test figure. Okay, I'm going to save that. Now our model is saved. I'm going to press A to select all the items here that are what we are going to make the insert with. So KitOps, when you install it, gives you this cool little panel. Now it comes with some models. KitOps Pro comes with more, so you can see you can get all kinds of little add-ons here. And if you look at them, we select them. These are materials that you can get with certain versions of KitOps. We come over here to, let's say, tech items, and you can see we've got some tech items, switches, illuminated objects, things like that. Anything that you apply a material to, you can save it with or without materials. That's really slick because later you can add materials to your objects and change them. So I've got that all done, and what I'm going to come over and do is actually create a KitOps insert. So with everything selected that I want to be my insert with, I'm going to hit Create Insert. That brings us into this model mode. I'm going to select this cube, okay, just the cube, and I'm going to call this Cutter. When I press that, you can see what it does is it gives us the model that we created, but indented into the surface area, and that's how our insert is going to look when we insert it, except for the fact that this particular version has material to it. Okay, so it's going to look more like this. I'm going to go back into this view here, solid view, and I'm going to select the base or the main base right like here, and that's going to be the main object. So if it's not selected, just put a little check box there, or a check mark there. Then you can call this whatever you want. We'll call this final toggle switch. And of course it's by me. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and save this insert in an area that I already have some inserts, just because I know where they are. So we're going to put this under furniture, and I've got that saved there. Toggle switch 2, I'm going to hit save insert, and now it's gone ahead and saved the insert. The next thing we want to do is create a rendered image of this. So I'm going to press 0 on my keypad, or you can go to view and look at it from camera view. So I can align this up the way I want it, just like that. And this whole square is going to be our thumbnail that we're going to use for our image. And then we're going to render the thumbnail right here, just like that. When that blue line turns off, your thumbnail's done and the asset's created. So far, so good. I hope you're following me. Let's close the factory scene and go back into our modeling mode. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and reopen my last file that I did, KitOps tutorial. I'm not going to save here. Now we just made a toggle switch for a console, so I'm going to come over to my electronics scene here. I'm going to unhide it. I'm going to zoom into my console. I'm just going to click on it so that it's selected. I'm going to come over to KitOps. And here under KitOps, I can just press the refresh key to make sure. And now remember, I saved that under furniture, so look through all your menus here and find the one that says furniture, which is right there. And then we can select this image right here, and it brings up all our objects. I'm going to select that switch, and then I'm going to hit insert or add insert. When we click on that, now I can move my mouse onto the object that I previously selected. I could zoom in or out with my mouse wheel, and I can place that onto our console. So right now, you can see our console, and it has no material. So if I go into render view, you can see we've got the switch here, and you can see it's casting a little bit of a shadow. And I'm just going to give this a quick material so that we can see how this would look. Oh, let's see, metal. Diamond plate. That looks good. I'm going to hit add, and that should change the material here. I'm just going to leave it like that, and you can see if we look at this under a rendered image, I'm going to zoom in here and render this image out. We end up with a lit switch. Okay, so there's our rendered image, and you can see we've got the console that we've made previously with the new insert switch that I have here. Now, the cool thing about KitOps is that if I get out of my camera view here, and let's go back into modeling view, and we go back to KitOps, anything that you make to be an insert or anything that comes with KitOps, for instance, if I come up to TechObjects2, I can grab any of these and just select my console, hit add insert, and then I can bring it in and put that there. Let's grab another one. Oops. And just put this over here. And let's select something a little bit different. Maybe this here, add insert, and I'm going to put this on top. You can also, once you click it, you can also rotate it. So if I want to rotate RZ, you can see I can rotate it along the Z axis. And then when I go into rendered view, you can see our models looking just like that. Now, you're not quite done with your models. For instance, if I want to apply this to the object, I'd have to actually select the model I added it to, which is in this case is the console. We'll come over to the modifiers, and you can see it adds the Boolean modifiers for these particular products or objects to the base mesh, and then I can hit apply all. It might take a few seconds here. We'll come back over to KitOps. I'm going to select the item that I created, this particular switch, and we'll scroll down here and we'll say create material insert, or I'm sorry, we're going to convert this to a mesh. So once I do that, now the item has become a mesh. Just give my computer a second here, and then I can get rid of this little box. We don't need that anymore. So if I delete that, our insert is inserted into our panel, and it looks relatively good. So if I come over here, you can see it's inserted perfectly. And the really cool thing about that is if you want to, let's say, take this one insert, where is it? The final toggle switch insert. If I open this up, I can select any one of these items here. So for instance, this final toggle switch, this is the light. And if I want to change that light, I can come over here to the color here, and you can see it's red, and I can just come over here to green, and I can make it green, and now it'll have a green hue to the light, just like so. So once you convert that to a mesh, you can go ahead and make changes to the color. So if I wanted to actually change the color of this black object that we did, I can override that by, let's say, making it blue, just like so. So that's pretty cool. Once you do the insert, you can go back and make any changes to it. Okay, so far so good. That was kind of a long, arduous description of that, but it does take a little time to get used to how that works. Let's actually go ahead and I'm going to remove these inserts, delete hierarchy. And well, actually, let's create something new. So I want to show you this because this is a pretty neat thing here. So under my house, and let's bring that up, I'm going to zoom out here. So we've got the house here, and let's go back into modeling or solid view mode. And I've got this box that represents the four walls or four exterior walls of a house. So under KitOps, I've gone ahead and modeled some doors and windows. I'm going to come over here to doors. There's my doors. We'll select that. Give it a second to upload. Let's see. Now I've made all these doors here, and let's say I want to use this particular door, door 101, and I want that to be the front door or the main door of the entrance. I just select my model that I'm going to add it to. With that door selected or visible here, I'll hit add insert, bring that over to my wall, and then I can size it up or down, get that to where I want it, just like so. And then when I come over into rendered view, you can see the material that was on that door is still there. And again, you can apply the Boolean from this particular model because it does add a Boolean to the house or whatever object you're adding to. If we come over here and look, you can see it added a Boolean modifier, just like so, and it's the difference. And it's just using this little box cutter here as a non-destructive Boolean. If we apply that, if I just come over here and hit apply, and then select my model and convert that to a mesh, There you go. So now I can get rid of the cutout box that was there originally, and I've got a door that's on both sides of the wall, just like so. So let me show you how to make a rudimentary door. It's pretty easy. Let's go to File, New, so we'll just go open this. I'm not going to save this because we're going to come back and show you. So let's take this cube and let's turn it into a door. So this cube is 1 meter by 1 meter. We're going to make that a little wider on the y-axis. I'm going to make that 2 meters tall. And of course, a door is not that thick, so let's make this 0.02 meters. And there's our door. And what we want to do now is actually make a door frame. So I'm going to take this cube. I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate it. I'm going to hit S and just size this a little bit bigger. I'm going to hit SZ so that this becomes thick enough to be a door frame. And we'll make that about, well, 20 centimeters. That looks pretty good. And let's go back and grab this door underneath it. I'm going to hit Shift D and duplicate it again. I'm going to hit SZ to size that up. Okay, with that done, I'm going to come over and select this new cube. I'm going to select the frame that we made, press or go to the Boolean difference and cut that out. So here's our door and here's our frame. I'm going to take this, I'm going to press Control A just to align the rotation and scale to both of these. And then I'm going to select the door, and I want to make the door a child of the door frame. So I select the door first, hold the Shift key down, select the frame, press Control P to parent it. And now again, you can test this by selecting the door frame, press the G key and move it around. If your door moves with the frame, we're in good shape. And now we need to make the cutter to go through the wall. So we're going to hit Shift A, we're going to add in a new cube. And I'm going to come over here to Top View. Again, you can get there with the tilde key, come over to Top View. And we're going to go into X-ray mode so that we can see our door frame. And we need to make this a little bit taller. S, Y, and I'm going to size this around the y-axis, but it needs to be narrower, so we'll narrow this down. SX, and I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller than the door frame itself. So if I zoom in here, you can see this is the door frame. This is our cutter that's highlighted in yellow, and the door itself is inserted into the door frame. Now this is still a little bit tall, so let's just size this down. SZ, I'm going to make that about like this. That becomes our cutter, and we have to parent this to the door frame also. So with the cutter or the new cube selected, grab your door frame by holding the Shift key and then click on the door frame. Press Control P, press Enter. Okay, now it's parented. If I grab this door frame and I move that, you can see the cutter and the door itself move with the frame. That's that simple. So let's go ahead and go to KitOps, come down to Create an Insert. And here's the insert creation. So I'm going to select this cube here. We're going to call this the cutter. I'm going to select the frame. If I can click on the frame, and that is our main object. Again, if it's not checked, put a check mark there. And let's call this Simple Door. Okay, we're going to save that there. Let's come over to Save Object or Save Insert. And let's find our doors. Right here. And we're going to call this Simple Door again. We're going to hit Save Insert, and now it's going to save that. Let's hit 0 on the keypad or go into camera view, and I'm just going to move this over here like so, and then hit Create Thumbnail. This will create a Cycles rendered thumbnail. Once that's done, we can open up our project file because I want to show you how to get to this. So let's see, KitOps tutorial, don't save. Okay, so here's our KitOps tutorial. Let's make our house visible and let's zoom out. And again, let's go back to the KitOps tab, refresh just in case. Let's go down to doors, wherever my doors are. And there they are. Let's see now, we've got a new door, should be called Simple Door in here somewhere. Right there, Simple Door, and I'm going to select the house. Then I'll click on the Add Insert, and you can see it brings it over. I'm just going to size this down just a little bit, and when I click on that to place it, you can see it goes through both sides of the building with the cutter. We'll come down here to Convert to Mesh. Select that, apply all. There we go. Now I can get rid of this box. And the door is visible on both sides. Now the really funny thing is there's no material on the door, so how do you add material? Well, you can come over and apply whatever material you want to it. So let's make our house blue because we can. So new, and I'll make it blue. And let's make our door frame, we'll add a new material to that. And let's make that yellow, and we'll make the door red. So now you can see you can go ahead and change those materials any way you want. And again, you can apply materials if you have other materials to it. So if I select this door and I'm using Extreme PBR as my material, so if I come over to wood, I can actually apply a wood tone to that. And you can see now my door is wood toned. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, one more thing I'm going to cover, and that's really simple, is how to make, for those of you who do some jewelry work like I do, I'll show you how to make a quick jewelry insert using KitOps. Let's go to File, New. I'm going to go to General. Don't save. Okay, so now I'm here. I'm working in this particular file scale of millimeters. So let's go ahead and add in a gemstone, because what I want to do is kind of make a gem that will insert itself into a ring. It's pretty simple. So we're going to add in, sometimes you see a simple ring with a bezel setting on it and a diamond's inserted into it. Let's go ahead and add in a diamond. If you don't have the extras turned on for mesh extras, like I've got diamonds here, you can go into your preferences, come over to add-ons, and then just search for mesh. So for instance, extra objects, which includes like the diamonds, you're going to make sure that that's turned on, and this gives you a bunch of extra objects that you can add into Blender. So let's close that window. So I'm going to hit Shift A. We're going to come over to mesh, and we're going to add in a diamond, and we'll just do a brilliant diamond. Now you can see this diamond is, let's go select the items tab. It is 2 millimeters. Let's make this 5 millimeters just because we can. So I'm going to size this up, S, and we're going to make that 5 millimeters. Ish, right there, that's good enough, 5.2. And of course we want to make a bezel for this. So pretty simple, I'm going to hit Shift A, I'm going to add in a cylinder, and I'm going to give this cylinder a little more geometry just to make it smoother. Hit S and then size it to be slightly bigger than our model. And if we go into X-ray mode, you can see it is slightly larger than our diamond, which if you are into jewelry design, you know it has to be. I'm going to size this along the Z-axis, just like so. And if we look at this from the side view, we want our bezel to be about like that. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to bring both of these up here so that it sits like that. I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate it. Shift D, press Enter. I'm going to hit SZ, make that tall. S, and just bring it down about like that. SZ, just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to take this particular item, use it as the cutout for my Boolean difference, and we're just going to drop that down so we got a nice hole in that. And then I can just take this particular item, our diamond. Let's see here. Our bezel looks pretty good if I go into edit mode. One thing I do want to show, because I'm a stickler when it comes to jewelry design, you never have sharp edges in jewelry. It's just not the way it is. So let's just select this, press Control A to align the rotation and scale, go into edit mode, pressing the tab key, 2 key to select edge loops, and I'm going to just select the entire edge around this particular upper part of our bezel. Press Control B, and I'm going to give that a little bit of a bevel, just like so, that's kind of rounded, just like that. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to take this diamond, and just because I want to, I'm going to add in a cutter from Jewelcraft. We'll subtract that from the bezel. And now I've modeled my bezel insert for the diamond. Okay, so with that done now, I have to take my diamond because we want the diamond to be parented as a child object of our bezel. So I'm going to select the diamond, hold the Shift key down, select the bezel, press Control P, and parent that. Okay, that's perfect. And now I want to take a cutter, and I want to make my cutter cut through the ring. So I'm going to hit Shift A, and this is the cutter that's going to be used for KitOps. So I'll add in a cylinder. I'll hit SZ and I'll just bring that up. And then I'm going to hit Shift-Z to make that a little bit wider than our diamond, just about like so. Now I can take that, hold it, with that selected, hold the Shift key down, select the bezel, press Control-P to parent that new object or new cylinder to the bezel. So if I grab that bezel now and we're in X-ray mode, you should be able to see everything moves with it. For the side view, and I want my center, or I want my point of origin to be the 3D cursor. So I'm going to just kind of keep that right there. And you can see if I zoom in, the bezel's going to kind of go below the red line. And that's okay. It's kind of what I want. I'm going to select this. I'm going to right click on it and then set origin to 3D cursor. You can see it moves the origin of our bezel to the 3D cursor. And that gives us a reference point to the location where this bezel will sit on top of the ring that I added to. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't, leave a comment in the description box below or in the comment section below. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to grab all 3 of these and I'm going to zoom out here and we're going to come back to KitOps. And again, I'm going to create an insert. And you can see it goes ahead and creates this insert. Let's get back out of X-ray mode so we can see how it looks. I'm going to grab this particular cylinder that I want to use as my cutter for KitOps. I'm going to make sure that I select cutter, and you can see what it does. It gives us a nice little cutout there. We'll select the bezel. Again, this should be our main object. And I'm going to come over here. We're going to call this simple diamond bezel setting. And I'm going to hit save. And it's going to ask me where to save it. Again, I'm going to save it in my, I'm going to go ahead and save this in my, oh, where was it? We'll just put this back in furniture. And that looks good. I'm going to hit save. It should go ahead and save that new insert. Now I'm going to press 0 on my keyboard so that I can do a, thumbnail. With that selected, I'll press render thumbnail. Boom, we're done. Go ahead and open up my test object or my test file. Where is it? KitOps tutorial. Okay, so now I've got my file and I'm going to highlight or show the ring. There's our ring. It's a pretty rudimentary ring. I'm going to select that. And again, remember, I created that insert. I put it under furniture. I'm just going to refresh this just in case. Let's come over to furniture right there. Let's click on this little picture here. There's my diamond insert. With that selected, I'm going to hit add insert and bring this over to my ring. Now you can see I can just use a scroll wheel to size it where I want it. And now I can place this wherever I want. So if I want it there, I can grab another one, add insert, and I can move this over here just like so. Perfect. I've got those 2 there. I can add as many as I want. I'm just going to stick with those 2. Let's select our ring. Let's hit apply all so that we apply all of those modifiers. If it doesn't work, don't worry. You can go ahead and shift select those, convert to mesh. Then we can come over here, apply all of our Boolean cutouts. Those are done, and I can get rid of these cutters that are left behind. Or you can come over here and remove unused wires. Boom, gone. That is a cool little trick. Probably should have done that first. So now you can see I've got my ring. There are no materials applied to this, so if I come over and I look at this, you can see it's just plain white. Oh, that looks pretty bad. So let's give some materials to these objects so you can see how it works later. I'm going to come over and I'm going to use some of the assets that I have. I have this 800 material pack. I think I did a video of this. If I did, I'll put it up in the upper right part of the screen so you can click on it. Let's go over to gold. You can filter out basic simple gold. I'll just highlight this ring. And we'll do the same for the bezels. Hopefully it changes that. Select that bezel. Come on. And if that doesn't work, I can just come over here, select gold right there. We'll do the same for this bezel. Gold, okay. And then I'm going to select the diamonds, if I can grab them. There we go. There's one of the diamonds. basic diamond. Put that right there. Oops. Control Z. Let's take this diamond. Let's isolate it. There we go. Unhide it. Select this diamond. And we'll apply that material just like so. Now if I zoom in and render this out, we should have what looks like a diamond ring. Okay, so there's our rudimentary ring. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. And it gives us a little bit of a view. Again, your environmental scene settings are going to make a big difference in how your objects look. Of course, the geometry that you did, whether or not you smoothed it out or not. If I come over here and hit smooth, that should look a whole lot better. Let's do that to the bezel too. And if I look under this ring, you can see where the cutout, perfectly cut out around the bezel. And it is more visible if I do this. Just bear with me. And now you can see the cutout from the insert, how that worked. Let's turn off our camera view. Gave us a nice hole through the ring. And that's exactly how we want it to be. So that's how you go ahead and create KitOps inserts that you can use. And again, you know, one of the things you can do also is if I turn this off, let's turn that off. Let's go back to the house, bring that up here. You know, real simple. I can come back to KitOps. Let's close this down. And I'll select, I'm going to select doors. And again, we'll just add in a door. Let's go ahead and add this door into this, add insert. Let's grab that. Let's bring that down just about like so. Okay, so there's my door. And if I want to, I can go ahead and add that table in. So let's go over to furniture, and let's see, select the table. Let's grab that, select that, add insert, and now I can place this table somewhere on the inside. And you can see it kind of just puts it along the normal side or normal face of whatever the model is. In this case, I'm applying it to the inside of the floor. Looks good so far. And again, you can size this by selecting it and then hit S, and you can see it sizes it up or down. And one cool thing is if I come over to Windows, let's go ahead and add in, I got the sliding glass door, so let's select the house, add the insert. I'm going to slide that down. So if I look through the frame here, you can see I'm looking right into the room of the house, and you can see the table in the background. So that's pretty much how you use KitOps and how to make your own inserts. If you guys want, I can cover this in a little bit more detail. Just give me, you know, some kind of an object that you want me to create. Let me know in the description below, and I'll go ahead and try to do a video on it. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing, as I do put out videos about pocket watches, wrist watches, repairs, jewelry design, things like that, and how to use Blender. So keep subscribed if you want to see more. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.